How's it guys, it's Red here with this video. It's a more conceptual and speculative type of video, but whatever. If you have any questions or feedback or just anything, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Help me reach 1.2k and even up to 2k sometime soon. And if you want to help support me even more, you can leave a super chat or become a channel member. Not only do you get a badge beside your name, you'll get to use special emotes and many other perks, such as getting to see and pick thumbnails for my videos. Anyways, let's get into it. So firstly, let's get into some basics about devils. As far as we know, devils embody a concept, from stuff like tomatoes to things like the future. And devils gain strength through fear. Now, there are two options that we can assume make devils. One is that fear causes them to exist, so if someone fears something, then a devil appears in hell. However, I personally think that one isn't the case. In my opinion, the second one is the closest to the truth, which is that if a concept or thing exists, then there's a devil for it, even if it isn't feared. So basically, I think that devils get stronger from fear, but that doesn't mean that fear is the reason devils exist. So essentially, what I mean is that everything is related to a devil, or is related to a devil that encompasses that concept and others similar. Which is a thing for both of them. Like, we have the gun devil just be all types of guns and not specific ones, but then we have two different swords, the katana and longsword devils, which we only know their hearts due to them being fused with people, the go and mirisugo. But yeah, they aren't the same. Even the knife devil is a separate devil. So there's different devils for different types of blades / swords. But it makes sense. Obviously, people think of longswords and katanas differently as they come from different cultures, and there's different beliefs attached to them. Similar to how there isn't a fruit devil, well, not that we know of, but there are different fruits with devils, the grape and tomato devils. Though maybe there is a fruit devil and a general sword devil. Cause we also have to talk about parents and children. Yeah, so there are devils who have this parent and child relationship, like the gun and tank devils being the children of the war devil. So maybe there is a generic sword / blade or even weapons devil that is a parent to every other weapons devil. But that also would mean that if a general weapons devil exists, it would also be the parent of the gun devil, but we don't know if it exists, so it doesn't matter at this point. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is that there's different rules when it comes to a devil coming to existence. They could be a mix of related concepts or be a very specific concept that is almost the same as another, and both concepts have different devils. Also, that some, if not all of the more recent and less old concepts are the children of other devils of older concepts. So yeah, that could be a bit complicated. So, time to go on another complicated topic. Devils, fear, and human perception. Obviously, like I said, we know that devils feed off of fear, and that the more feared ones are the strongest. And if a devil starts to get less feared and more worshipped, they lose strength, like with what happened with Pochita. But what kind of fear do devils feed off of? Is it all types of animals? Are plants included? In my opinion, human fear is the only fear they feed off of. And that human perception changes the way devils work. And even maybe that humans are the reason that devils even exist. In my opinion, animals outside of humans and plants probably don't affect how a devil is perceived, and they also don't give devils strength. So the thing is, humans are the reason certain devils have certain abilities and certain relationships. Again, with the parent-child thing, guns and tanks were made for fighting and killing. And yes, a gun's primary and essentially only purpose is for killing. That's why there should be more regulations and restrictions, and bringing up stuff like cars is a bad argument because cars have other uses and killing wasn't the purpose cars were made for. Sorry about that, I just needed to get that out of my system. Let's just chalk it up to an America moment. Anyways, the reason humans created something or associate a concept with it is what gives certain devils relationships. Want a bigger example? Well, the Four Horsemen is one of the biggest examples on how human perception affects devils. While concepts like control or conquest, war and famine are tangentially connected, The devils treating each other like siblings and even taking up the name of the four horsemen is very much a human perception thing. Like, they take it from the book of Revelation, where the four horsemen are from. So, in my opinion, the way people think of concepts gives them connections and abilities. The book of Revelation and the four horsemen in it most likely caused the control, war, famine, and death devils to become quote-unquote siblings. People started connecting those concepts together, and as Revelation and the belief of the four horsemen came to be and spread around the world, it caused the four devils to become quote-unquote siblings or sisters. Me personally, I don't think that they were always sisters since they began to exist. I really think that they became sisters because humans started connecting their concepts more closely together. In my opinion, this is also the reason devils get their abilities or personalities. Humans and superstition gives them abilities that fit in with the beliefs of humans. Kinda like how Katana Man is able to do that super fast cutting that's almost like teleporting, as it takes inspiration from the Aijutsu sword technique, which is a Japanese quick draw technique. Superstition and belief from humans is what gives devils their abilities and connections with other devils. So TLDR, humans are the reasons devils have certain abilities and why some of them are connected with each other as quote-unquote siblings. And will still be siblings even if they die and reincarnate back in hell, since dying would erase the memories of their past life, but they keep the innate belief and connection of their quote-unquote family. Like how Nayuta still knew that Yoru and Fami, aka Death, were still her sisters even though she lost all her memories from when the control devil was Makima. Also, with how devils feed off of fear, why would they even kill humans? Well, it's just their nature, so it's not like they can change that since devils need both human fear and blood. Well, they can eat other things, but it seems like human/human blood is their preference, and human blood is probably the only blood that fully heals devils. Not to mention, it probably tastes the best for the devils. Anyways, this just brings up why devils kill humans, and the prophecy that will end humanity. Like, will devils disappear after? Will they get weaker than ever? Well, probably. I mean, if life ends, devils will probably be unable to get stronger. But personally, I think that they'll definitely keep their strength at least. Like, let's look at the tomato devil. Why did it seem so strong? Like, the grape devil was literally super weak. Also, who fears tomatoes outside of being allergic to them? However, there was something that did make them very feared. Back when Europeans were colonizing the Americas, tomatoes were discovered by them. And while the Native Americans ate them just fine, Europeans were poisoned when they ate tomatoes. So what happened after? The Europeans didn't eat them and they feared them, which is definitely the reason why the tomato devil got stronger. But then we later discovered that it was the acids of the tomato that leached lead from the pewter plates that the Europeans ate from at the time. But even after that, the tomato devil is definitely scarier than it should. So it leads me to believe that devils get to keep their basic powers, they just lose strength when they aren't feared. So the tomato devil has the same powers it had when it was feared the most, but it is weaker than it was before. Well, assuming that devils were around at that time, but that's also for later. So let's get into something closer to what the question of the title is. How are devils formed? Well, we don't know at all. They just seemingly spawn when a concept is created or exists. But is that really it? Personally, I think that it's when a human or humans discover it. So, like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs existed way before humans even existed, but the dinosaur devil, if it exists, didn't until dinosaurs were discovered by humans. So, stuff like gravity existed since, I don't know, like when the universe existed, but it wasn't discovered by humans until recently. Well, relative to the beginning of the universe, that is. So I think that a gravity devil doesn't exist, but the concept is with the falling devil. Falling is associated with gravity due to gravity being the force that pulls us down. So falling took the abilities of controlling gravity because we knew that we fell down, but the theory of gravity didn't exist in the minds of humans. But let's get back onto how devils are formed. I think there are two options. One is that when a concept is thought up, a devil is formed. The other is that if a concept is thought up, the only way for it to become a devil is when enough people believe/know about it, or even fear it. maybe a little fear is needed to create a devil. Which I doubt, because people didn't fear ears when they discovered them. But maybe it's something else that did it. But even then with that, what can be made into devils? We know real life stuff can be made into devils, but fictional stuff can also be real through devils. Like the zombie devil. Zombies most likely didn't exist in the world before zombies as a concept were created. And the zombie devil created real zombies. But what else? Like vampires, they're undead, but the zombie devil isn't a general undead devil, but just zombies specifically. And the vampire devil probably exists. But if that's the case, what about particular beings, like specific people or creatures? Like Genghis Khan was very notorious. Would there be a Genghis Khan devil? Or does it go to a potential human/humanity devil? But what about fictional races like elves or even stuff from movies? Do those exist? If so, then are elves and other fictional races real now? If that's the case, why haven't we seen them? Also, like, what about aliens? I'm sure there's an alien devil. So did the alien devil create aliens and they exist in Chainsaw Man? Or did alien life exist beforehand? But if that's the case, will the real aliens, if they're real, get erased if Pochita ate the alien devil? Or are there no aliens in space and the only aliens were fake ones created by the alien devil? And again, we know that specific groups of people can become devils. Like the the Nazi devil existed in Chainsaw Man. Makima confirmed it. We also know that Pochita ate it and that the Nazis disappeared. So specific groups of people have been devils. Or is it just what it stands for as a group? Like, surely there isn't a Megadeth or Metallica devil. So, like, is it only reserved for evil and notorious groups? Or is it like political parties can become devils because it's not a person or people, but a belief? So, for the US, there might be a Democrat devil and a Republican devil. Oh, wait, my bad, the Nazi devil was erased, so just the Democrat devil. Anyways, it's confusing. Maybe specific groups of people can become devils, or maybe it's about ideals and not about the people themselves inside the group. So yeah, it's hard to say how devils are particularly formed when not only do we not have the information, we most likely won't get it at all. So let's talk about it more with the question of the video. What came first, the devil or the concept? Now, it's really complicated, like how we don't know what gets turned into a devil or not. Well, either way, I'll give you the answer. It's the concept. Actually, the concept definitely exists way before the devil, or at least way before modern devils. There's two ways it can go. Once a concept exists, then a devil exists at the same time. Or, the one I choose to believe, devils didn't exist until more recently in the series. Now, the first devil hunter is said to be Quan Chi, but we don't know her age. And the second longest we know of is this guy. Yeah, he was a devil hunter, and apparently he was in Aging's World for 82 years. And he was the most recent one there. And apparently it takes 1,000 years for people to turn into trees. So that means at the very least, devils existed for more than 1,000 years. So at least there's that. But I still don't think that a lot of the non-modern devils existed when their concepts first existed. Like, what counts as life or death? Cause when the universe first formed, things lived and died. I still don't think that the Death Devil has been around since the beginning of the universe and when the first actual living things began to exist on Earth. I still think that the Death Devil and other devils didn't exist at that time. There's different possibilities as to when they began to exist. One is that devils started to exist when humanity began to exist. Another is that devils began to exist when the Devil first existed. And another possibility could be that devils began to exist after a particular event caused them to exist. Obviously there can be a bunch of other ways, but these are the ones that I thought up of. So let's firstly go with the Devil one. Now I kinda don't believe this one as much, but it is entirely possible. I mean, if concepts spawn devils, then the first devil to be created must also be the Devil, or at least tied with the other first devil. we know that the Devil is at least in the mind of Fujimoto, as he mentioned it when he was asked if a Devil existed. And he said that he didn't want to reveal it.
パワー役のファイルズ愛さんから、はい、天使の悪魔がいるなら、はい、悪魔の悪魔もいますか？
そうなんですよね。これも考えてて、ただこれは今後出す設定であるんで、
ネタバレになるんでノーコメントで。
あ、じゃあノーコメントで、はい。
はい、ありがとうございます。はい。
So with his statement, it might play an important role later in the story. Maybe it will be revealed that it created the devils and Pochita eats it to get rid of devils, or Pochita himself is the Devil. Next, I want to talk about the possibilities that devils began to exist when humans did, or at least when humans first thought of devils. Then that event caused devils to exist. So this one is actually just the next one, but specifically about when humanity or humans began to exist. So all the stuff that I say for this next one could be used for this previous one. But the reason I'm going to talk about this next one more is because I kind of want this one to be true. And this one is that a particular event caused devils to exist. Now, I personally believe that devils are more modern than what people think. Well, relative to how long humans have existed and stuff. Like, how would people even live to survive devils if they either appeared before humans or appeared when humans began to exist? Cause I feel like a devil could have easily ended Homo sapiens as a species if they existed at the same time as us or longer. So it makes me believe that devils didn't exist until more recently. Well, in relative terms of the entirety of the human race existing. But if that's the case, then why are there things like primal devils and other devils that have seemingly existed for a lot longer? Well, it could be that they retroactively appeared and were remembered to always exist. So what could have happened was that reality was manipulated and made people and even devils believe that they've been around since the beginning. I mean, mass manipulation of reality and consciousness has been in Chainsaw Man. Like Pochita does this. He eats devils and their concepts get erased and people don't fully realize what happened unless they were prepared. And this could be used to explain how devils could have been more modern than we thought of, but people have thought that devils have existed for a while. Like with Pochita's reality manipulation, he erases concepts and things, like how he erased mouths. So people believe that they never had mouths. However, it didn't affect reality to where it seemed like humans lived without mouths since the beginning. Just that mouths disappeared and everything else was the same. So if we apply it with devils, it could be that they randomly appeared one day, but reality manipulated the minds of the people and everything into believing that devils were always there. I mean, think about it. How could Quan Chi be the first devil hunter if devils seemingly existed way before? I mean, she is a hybrid, and I think that at the very least, she's over 100 years old. But I don't think that she's over 1,000 years old. We know that devils, and probably hybrids, can turn into trees. Like, aging proves this with Pochita. Aging made Pochita age into a tree. And again, aging's powers aren't to make things into trees. Not even aging knows why living things turn into trees. But then again, it seems like you can heal yourself from turning into trees since that's what happened, so this point is pretty iffy. However, doesn't it fit with how reality manipulation in Chainsaw Man has happened? Like, Quan Chi being the first devil hunter either means that she was the first devil hunter in general, or the first devil hunter from a specifically made group dedicated for devil hunting. Either way, it just doesn't make sense. So what if the reason she became the first devil hunter was because devils didn't exist before her time, but they somehow began to exist during it? So that could explain why humans didn't have any devil hunters beforehand until Quan Chi. There just weren't any devils to begin with. This is like how phones were made with the thought of using your mouth to speak into it, and in Chainsaw Man, when mouths were erased from existence, a phone's purpose was still the same. The only difference was that mouths were gone. So devil hunters didn't exist until devils began to exist, which in turn made devil hunting a real job. Also, I'd like to bring up that primal devils are only stated to be devils who haven't experienced the cycle of death that most devils have experienced. They were never stated that they were the oldest. And while their fears represent some of the oldest fears that humanity has had, that could just be explained as their concepts and fears are practically universal. We have also never been told how old the primals are, nor has Death said anything about her age yet. Obviously, most devils wouldn't know how old they really are because they have died and forgotten their past lives. So yes, I think that devils began to exist relatively recently in Chainsaw Man's world, and we haven't been given any reason to not think about that. So, what event could have caused devils to exist? Well, it could be anything. But what if it was humanity's first sin? Which was when the serpent tricked Eve and Adam into consuming the forbidden fruit of knowledge. Now, Adam and Eve have actually been brought up in the series by someone like Nanashi, which is what I called this guy, by the way. When the Chainsaw Man Church claimed that he was the real Chainsaw Man, he talked about creating a world without devils. And in a devil-less world, Adam and Eve, he was cut off and we didn't get to see what he said. So what if Nanashi was going to say, in a devil-less world, Adam and Eve will be forgiven for causing man's first sin, or something like that. What I'm getting at is that quote-unquote Adam and Eve isn't specifically talking about those two, but of humanity in general. In that the reason devils exist is because humanity gained knowledge. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. It could mean that it was when humans became the most intelligent species in the planet, or maybe it was when we fully became aware of life and our place in existence. All I know is that devils could have been created when humans gained some form of knowledge, forbidden or not. So, like I said, what came first, the devil or the concept? The answer? The concepts. Things like death weren't formed because of a devil. The concept existed, and devils merely became personifications of the concepts after humanity obtained some sort of knowledge, and the beliefs and thoughts of humanity caused devils to be formed and act the way they do. Final statements. Well, what can I say? Either Fujimoto purposefully and meticulously crafted the mythos of Chainsaw Man in this way and everything was fully thought through, and all that was needed was for someone to try to piece things together, or Fujimoto never thought of any of that, and I'm thinking too deep into all this shit. Well, it's probably that. I doubt Fujimoto really thought of all the complexities of how devils existed and stuff. This isn't even bashing Fujimoto. I think he's able to craft very great world building. I just think that not everything needs to be explained or fully thought up completely to make a story. Sometimes things are just made afterwards. Maybe that's why it's ambiguous on how devils form and stuff. Fujimoto has either not thought up of a reason as to why, or just doesn't think he needs to explain that. Though my one hope and the thing I believe will happen is that Fujimoto will explain how devils came to exist. I think that it might happen. I think that we'll get an explanation. But who am I kidding? There's a chance that nothing will be revealed. But yeah. Either way, I wanted to make this video, even if most, if not all of it is real. I just think it's fascinating to speculate in this way since it's not that common in my opinion. I also just like creative writing and expressing my thoughts for you guys, and I love the responses you give me. And again, I'm still surprised that people listen to all my yapping, even with videos like this that are over 4,000 words. Yes, look at the word count of my script, which is also 6 pages long. But again, I'm glad you guys check out my videos of me talking about a series as if it was real life. Anyways, that's all. I hope you enjoyed it and let me know what you think in the comments. Next video was voted on by you. It's gonna be all about Asa, so hopefully you check it out. Oh, and by the time this video's up, the next one is also up as well, so go vote for the video you want to see. Right now, it's this one. I don't know which one is winning because I wrote the script and recorded this before I put up the poll. So go vote for the one you want to see. Anyways, aside from that, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to support me and this channel. If you want to support me some more, then super chat me or become a channel member. And this is where I'd put my channel members if I had any. Well, I did have one, but they didn't renew. I still appreciate it a lot. So maybe become a channel member if you want to make me happy. Or if you want a direct shout out, make sure to be a tier 2 member, which is only $1 more than the first tier. Anyways, that's pretty much it. If you're new here, make sure to stick around for more videos and check out my previous ones in the meantime. So thanks for watching.